Welcome back to CBS Mornings. That's a perfect song for this segment. The FDA recently approved the first drug to treat a leading cause of vision loss affecting at least 1 million older Americans. CBS News chief medical correspondent Dr. Jon LaPook is here to discuss. John, this is very exciting news.
It certainly is, Gayle, and good morning. If you or someone you know is getting older, you'll want to pay attention. The condition is called macular degeneration, and it affects a person's central vision. You can go from this, where there's clearly a spot forming in the middle of the visual field, to this, where there's progressive blurriness involving the entire field. Now, there can be total loss of vision, and it can happen starting around age 50. The new drug, an injection called Syfovre, doesn't reverse that loss of vision, but it can slow it down. 7 years ago, Bob Norman started having trouble reading. Tests revealed he had the advanced form of this problem in both eyes. He joined the clinical trial to test the drug on his right eye. We spoke with him and an eye doctor who is a retinal specialist who helped oversee the study.
The doctor basically said, there's nothing we can do. You're going to go blind eventually. I've had to give up tennis. I've had to give up bowling. It's killed my retirement plans. The right eye, yeah, it's stabilized to the point where I can get down pretty far on that eye chart. So, the left eye has got to be treated, or that's going to go blind.
What do you think of this treatment, and how big of a deal is this?
It's a huge deal. This would be the first available treatment to slow disease progression for this area of huge unmet clinical need. It would represent a game changer, a beginning of a new treatment era for these patients with geographic atrophy.
All right, Doc, so how do you know whether the blurry vision could become worse?
You got blurry vision, you go to an eye doctor. I mean, that's pure and simple. I mean, people should be getting eye doctor examinations routinely anyway, and increasingly as you get older, certainly by 60 or 65, you should be going once or twice a year. That's what the societies recommend. But they'll do that special exam, a dilated exam where the pupil goes open and you have to wear the sunglasses afterwards. They can really get a great look at the retina because it's not something that you're just going to know intuitively.
So, dumb question, the eye doctor, is that the person where you get your prescription, or is it an ophthalmologist? Big fancy word?
Yeah, it's an ophthalmologist, and if you do,
it's one and the same. So
an optician is the person who makes he can look at your eyes, or he or she can look at your eyes.
So I go to Warby Parker. They do eye exams there. Is that the same?
Right. Well, it needs to be a dilated eye exam. I mean, lots of different people say they can do it, right? What you ultimately want to get to is a retinal specialist. Because this is not something where just anybody can do it. There are special tests. You're looking and you say, there's that geographic atrophy, that advanced form, and it affects, more than 1 million Americans.
Explain, John, why this is such a big deal and who's eligible, because this has never happened before.
It's never happened before. People have heard the term macular degeneration.
Yes.
There's the wet form and the dry form. We're talking about the dry form. The wet form, which is about 15% of the people, there's a good treatment for many, many years. This dry form, there's been nothing. So this is a big advance in terms of...
So saying it's a game changer...
Finally, I think, and we're optimistic, right? You're slowing the vision loss. You're not reversing it. And I spoke to people, a couple of eye doctors are very excited about it. I spoke to Dr. Stephen Schwartz, who is a retinal specialist at the Jules Stein Institute at UCLA. And 10 years ago, I did a study with him. He's using stem cells to try to not just slow the loss, but to actually reverse the vision loss and have people restore vision. Now, this is still an experimental stage, but I think people are looking for not only with this drug to be able to use it in people with the advanced form, also maybe over time, when I spoke to Dr. Ladd about it, she thought, well, maybe the next step would be to have people who have intermediate loss to see if it helps them, and then really just early loss to see if that helps. You want to try to prevent the loss.
What's your definition of older American? Because mine keeps changing. It used to be 50.
It's 10 years older than whatever age I am.
What is it really in this particular case?
So I think, I looked at the curve. It starts like, even in the 40s, the curve starts going up, 50 starts going up more, and then by the time you get to 60 and 70, it's really going up. So I think when you hit 40, you should get a baseline exam. You hit 50, certainly you should be getting a few in between there. But I think by 50, you should really be getting them regularly. And I looked it up last night. The societies say by 60, 65, you should be getting it every year or two. Don't wait to get the symptoms because you may not have the symptoms. Get the good exam.
Well, let's remain optimistic.
All right.
Dr. Jon LaPook, thank you so much.